The film that started the DCEU, Man of Steel. There's not a whole lot to say about this because it's just a great movie in my eyes. The perfect casting, the perfect director, the perfect story told. It's a super movie for Superman. As we all know, Superman isn't a well-loved hero. He's not super likable. It's because he's overpowered as shit. He's got everything. He can fly. He barely takes damage. He can shoot lasers from his eyes. He is a god. He is a god amongst men. But what they do in this film is they humanize him. He goes to Earth after his race pretty much die. His planet dies. He lands on Earth as a baby. He's raised with the humans. He knows he's different. He knows he's an outcast. But it's not that cliche where I don't want to be different. I want to be like everyone else. No, he has this power and he knows he has it for a reason. He knows it's a responsibility to him. And that's amplified so well through his parents in the movie. You really get that connection between the parents and Clark as he's growing up. And you see the responsibility that he has to take on, the weight on his shoulders. To call this a movie about Superman, be doing it in injustice. No pun intended. This is a movie about a guy who learns to love a race that he is not really a part of. He's different. He's an alien. He's basically a god to these people because of his abilities. But he's someone who has to make the ultimate decision. He's someone who's searching to find out who he really is, where he's from, what's his purpose on Earth. And the Kryptonians finally come back. They're not the good ones though. They're the bad ones that were banished. And they want to make a new Krypton. But that involves mass genocide. Some Thanos type shit. Destroying the whole planet. All life. Not half, like Thanos does. All of Earth though. And Henry Cavill is like, nah, these are my people. And he makes the choice between the humans and the Kryptonians. The hardest choice. Which is where this movie has its strength. Because this is a movie about how people perceive this guy. About what the right thing to do is. When you have all this power, you're always gonna get people fearing you. He could do anything he wants. He could destroy us as well. The other Kryptonians tried. Why couldn't Superman do the same? Which of course carries on into Batman v Superman. And the score by Hans Zimmer. I know, I praise this guy a lot, but my god, the score is incredible in this movie. One of his best. Maybe his best. It's so good. It really brings the tone that this movie needs. And the tone this movie needed was a serious one. This is so different from any of the MCU stuff. Even if they have a darker movie, it is nothing like this. Completely different tone. Completely different mood. And I love this film. I think it's great. It's not a perfect movie. The CG is a little bit but when it's blended with a real scene and then you've got some CG sort of planted in there, it looks great. But when you've got whole ass CG scenes, like buildings exploding and being destroyed, it looks a little bit iffy. But I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty really. It was the perfect way to kickstart this DCEU. It was a risk, of course, because Superman isn't the most popular character. If they'd started with a Batman movie, people would have been all on that. More viewers. But as we'll get on with the other DCEU stuff, particularly Batman v Superman, you'll see why these movies are so good, but just so slept on. Man of Steel is a super movie.